Welcome back to the channel Future Speed Hub 2026. Today we are going to talk about one of the most unique and rare tanks that came out of Soviet experimental designs, the Object 785. This vehicle represents an era when the Soviet Union was experimenting with multiple futuristic ideas to upgrade their armored forces and keep an edge during the Cold War. Unlike the famous tanks like the T-72, T-80, or T-90 that reached mass production, the Object 785 stayed as a prototype, yet it carried features that still attract attention from military enthusiasts, historians, and tank lovers around the world. The Object 785 was part of the Soviet attempts to design heavy and super heavy main battle tanks with more firepower, better armor protection, and higher mobility. The vehicle stood out immediately because of its unusual look and its ambitious armament. At the heart of its design was a massive 130mm rifled gun that was far larger and more powerful than what most tanks of the time carried. This gun was intended to provide overwhelming firepower against enemy armor, fortified positions, and even low-flying aircraft in some cases. The main gun was supported by an autoloading system that reduced the need for additional crew and allowed faster reloading times, something the Soviets were testing on many of their advanced designs. When it comes to protection, Object 785 was heavily armored, built to withstand direct hits from NATO tanks and anti-tank weapons. The frontal armor was designed with advanced composite layering that was a step ahead of the earlier Soviet models. The sloped design helped deflect incoming rounds, and engineers intended it to survive in the harshest battlefield conditions. This level of protection came with an increase in weight, which is why the tank needed a powerful engine. The designers fitted it with a 1,200 horsepower diesel engine, giving it the ability to reach decent speeds despite its massive structure. For a vehicle of its size, this was an impressive achievement that showed how seriously the Soviets were pushing technology at that time. Another remarkable point about Object 785 was its suspension and track system. To carry such heavy armor and a massive gun, the tank needed strong mobility features. It was equipped with advanced torsion bar suspension and wide tracks, giving it the ability to cross rough terrain, muddy fields, and snow-covered landscapes that are common in Eastern Europe and Russia. The wide tracks reduced ground pressure, allowing it to move where other heavy vehicles might get stuck. Engineers also worked on stabilizers and aiming systems to allow the tank to fire while moving, something that became standard in later Soviet and Russian main battle tanks. In terms of crew layout, Object 785 had space for 3 to 4 operators depending on the version. Automation of the loading system and certain internal systems allowed the Soviets to reduce crew workload, making the tank more efficient in battle. The crew was well protected in an armored capsule within the hull, which was an innovative idea at the time. This concept of crew protection inspired future designs like the Russian Armata T-14. Even though the Object 785 was advanced, it faced problems that prevented it from reaching mass production. The weight and size of the tank made transportation difficult, and the Soviet military leadership decided to focus on upgrading existing tanks like the T-72 and T-80 instead of spending resources on experimental heavy projects. Another issue was cost. Producing such a massive machine with advanced systems would have been very expensive. As a result, Object 785 remained a prototype and never entered active service. Today, Object 785 is remembered as one of the most ambitious Soviet experimental tanks. It showed how far engineers were willing to go in their search for the ultimate battlefield machine. While it never fought in real combat, the lessons learned from it influenced the future of Soviet tank development. Its powerful gun, strong armor concepts, and crew protection ideas can be seen as early steps toward the technologies we now see in modern Russian and even Western tanks. For military fans and historians, Object 785 is a fascinating example of Cold War competition. It stands as a reminder of the arms race era, when both NATO and the Warsaw Pact were constantly trying to outdo each other with bigger, faster, and stronger machines. Though it never rolled into battle, it remains a legendary prototype that still sparks curiosity today. Thank you for watching this video on Future Speed Hub 2026. If you enjoyed learning about the Object 785 and want to see more content about rare experimental tanks, modern weapons, and future military technology, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and share it with others who love this subject. I will see you in the next video.